You are paying $65 a year for a Costco membership. 90% of members are only extracting about half of what that card is actually worth. This isn't because Costco is hiding anything from you. It's because nobody has ever sat down and pointed out what's already sitting directly in front of you, built into the membership you already paid for. 12 things, all included, all ignored by most people walking through those doors every single week. If you've ever walked out of Costco with a receipt in one hand and a soda and a hot dog combo in the other, you are participating in one of the strangest subsidized prices in American retail history. That price hasn't moved since 1984. 40 years. Through every wave of inflation, every supply chain crisis, every price hike across the entire food industry, the hot dog combo is still $1.50. This isn't an oversight. When executives proposed raising it to $1.65, co-founder Jim Sinegal reportedly said he would fire whoever made that decision. Costco takes a direct loss on every single combo sold. With over 150 million combos moving through their food courts annually, that cumulative loss reaches tens of millions of dollars every year, and they accept it without hesitation. They know that a satisfied customer who ends their shopping trip with a hot meal walks out the door happy and comes back next week. In 2009, Costco built its own hot dog manufacturing plant, specifically to control production costs without depending on an outside supplier. Smart shoppers use this deliberately. Instead of stopping at McDonald's or Subway on the way home, finish your grocery run at the Costco food court. That $1.50 combo is a direct, tangible way to claw back value from your annual membership fee, one trip at a time. The hearing aid industry in the United States has run on the same model for decades. You visit a clinic, a specialist tests your hearing, and then you're led into a small room lined with glass display cabinets to receive a quote that makes your stomach drop. The average price, $4,600 per pair. And that figure doesn't include follow-up visits, programming adjustments, or warranty fees layered on top. Costco stepped directly into this market and rewrote the pricing structure entirely. The Costco Hearing Aid Center now carries premium hearing aids from Jabra, Philips, and Rexton, fully vetted medical-grade brands, priced between $1,599 and $1,699 per pair. That's a savings of $2,000 to $3,000 against private clinics for equivalent product quality. What genuinely sets this apart isn't just the price tag. Your hearing test is conducted free by a licensed specialist, not a commissioned salesperson. Cleaning, adjustment, and reprogramming are included for the full lifespan of the device at no additional charge. Loss and damage insurance is built directly into the purchase price, rather than sold as a separate add-on, the way private clinics structure it. Progressive lenses, the type most people over 50 eventually need, typically run $300 to $500 at chains like LensCrafters or VisionWorks, and that number doesn't even include the frames. Costco Optical offers Kirkland Signature HD progressive lenses for $199.99. And that price already includes every coating that outside retailers charge for individually: anti-reflective, scratch-resistant, and UV protection. At LensCrafters, each of those coatings adds $50 to $100 separately. Frames from Ray-Ban or Oakley at Costco typically run about 40% below standard market pricing. Something most people genuinely don't know. You don't need a membership card to schedule an eye exam. The optical department operates independently under federal regulation. Walking in, getting your eyes checked, and deciding whether to purchase afterward is entirely up to you. No membership required for that part of the visit. Most major retailers today attach conditions to returns that quietly work against you. 30 days, receipt required, original packaging only. Those conditions turn a stated benefit into a practical barrier. Costco built something fundamentally different. Outside of major electronics, which carry a 90-day window, you can return almost anything, at almost any time, without a paper receipt in hand. Your entire purchase history is stored automatically under your membership number, so walking up to the service counter empty-handed is genuinely sufficient. A blender that stops working a year in? Bring it back. A bedding set that doesn't match the description? Bring it back. A canister of coffee your family simply doesn't like the taste of after opening it? Also eligible. Also fine. The point that matters here: you have already paid for this benefit inside your annual membership fee, whether you use it or not. I have watched people bring home something they weren't satisfied with and quietly tuck it into a cabinet corner, absorbing the loss simply because going back to the counter felt like too much friction. That is money being thrown away for no reason. This policy exists to be used, not admired from a distance. Most people look at a Costco price tag and see a number. Longtime shoppers look at the same tag and see a complete internal message. The last 2 digits function as a private signaling system between Costco corporate and its individual warehouses, and understanding it changes every single shopping trip going forward. A price ending in .99 is standard retail pricing. Nothing unusual. A price ending in .97 is a corporate-level signal, not a local branch decision, indicating that item needs to clear out fast. The Dyson vacuum you've been eyeing, suddenly appearing at $249.97 instead of $299.99, is a textbook example of exactly this. A price ending in 0 or 88 is rarer still. Typically a decision made locally by that specific branch manager, usually applied to display units or the final pieces of a discontinued batch. And then there's the small asterisk in the upper right corner of the tag. Longtime shoppers call this the star of death. It signals the product has been discontinued permanently and will not return once current stock runs out. My personal rule: if you see an item you actually need carrying a .97 price alongside that asterisk, buy it immediately without hesitation. That is the lowest price you will ever see on that product, and it will be gone within weeks. Retail psychology runs on a simple rule. When the per ounce price looks smaller, the brain labels it a good deal automatically, without further analysis. Costco's entire bulk model is built directly on top of that psychological shortcut. The problem is that this shortcut ignores one critical variable: your household's actual consumption rate. A giant tub of hummus looks dramatically cheaper than the small container at Trader Joe's. But if the expiration date is 7 days out and your family only finishes a third of it before it starts to smell, that apparent savings has become money thrown directly into the trash. A 2022 consumer study found that roughly 20% of food purchased at wholesale clubs gets discarded before it's fully consumed, significantly higher than the waste rate at conventional supermarkets. My rule is simple: dry goods, household supplies, and freezable foods are where bulk buying genuinely pays off. Toilet paper doesn't expire. Laundry detergent doesn't spoil. Frozen wild-caught salmon holds its quality for 6 months in the freezer. Fresh produce and prepared foods are an entirely different calculation, and treating them the same way is where the savings quietly disappear. This particular bias lasts far longer than it should, and it costs the person holding it money every single week. A significant portion of consumers, particularly older shoppers, still associate a store's private label with lower quality by default. At Costco, that assumption results in an invisible brand tax every time you pass over Kirkland's signature for the familiar name sitting on the shelf right next to it. Here's how Kirkland's signature actually operates. Costco contracts directly with top-tier manufacturers, requires them to meet or exceed the standards of their own name brand lines, packages the result under the Kirkland label, and has those manufacturers sign confidentiality agreements preventing disclosure. Kirkland batteries are manufactured on the exact same assembly lines as Duracell. Kirkland diapers come from Kimberly-Clark, the same conglomerate that owns Huggies. Kirkland olive oil has beaten premium bottles costing 3 times as much in multiple professional blind taste tests. I switched to Kirkland batteries, olive oil, and select supplements a while back. And honestly, I haven't noticed a meaningful quality difference against the name brands I used before. The only number that changed was the one printed on the receipt. Right in front of the cash registers, there's a section that 9 out of 10 members walk directly past every single week. If you're buying multivitamins, fish oil, or calcium at CVS or Walgreens on a monthly basis, here's a question worth sitting with. What exactly are you paying for inside that bottle? The majority of the cost in a name brand vitamin bottle isn't the ingredients. It's television advertising, packaging design, and shelf placement fees paid to the retailer. Costco doesn't pay those costs, which means you don't either. The Kirkland Signature Dietary Supplement line, especially the mature Multi 50+ formula, typically runs 50 to 70% cheaper than comparable products from Nature Made or Centrum. What makes this more than a marketing claim is USP certification, United States Pharmacopoeia, an independent body that verifies exact dosage accuracy, confirms no contaminants, and tests proper dissolution in the body. Not every brand you've trusted on pharmacy shelves for years actually holds this certification. The manufacturing chain behind this is genuinely interesting. Many Kirkland vitamin lines come from Perrigo and LNK International, two of the largest pharmaceutical manufacturers in the country. The exact same companies producing private label vitamins for CVS and Walgreens. Same factory, same manufacturing standard, different label, significantly different price. There's a rack sitting directly in front of the registers that looks like nothing more than an ordinary display of plastic gift cards, and most people walk past it without a second glance. That rack is where Costco quietly hands you a 20% discount you have to actively choose to take. Costco purchases gift cards in bulk from major partners: Southwest Airlines, AMC Theaters, restaurant chains like Texas Roadhouse, in multi-million-dollar volume, then resells them to members at 20 to 25% below face value. A $100 Texas Roadhouse card runs around $79.99. A $50 AMC card typically sells for around $39.99. A friend pointed this rack out to me once, and the logic was simple. Buy gift cards for places you're already spending money at regularly, and you save real money without changing a single habit. If dinner out is already on the calendar this weekend, or a flight is already being booked in the coming months, swinging by this rack before checkout is one of the easiest wins available inside the store. Most Costco shoppers view the receipt check at the exit as a security formality, a minor inconvenience standing between them and the parking lot. That's not actually the primary reason it exists. Costco cashiers scan items at a pace more than double the speed of a conventional grocery checkout, and that speed creates a specific, recurring error. Double scanning the same bulky item, a case of water, a multi-pack of toilet paper, that customers don't manually lift onto the belt. Exit staff are trained specifically to reconcile the physical item count in your cart against the printed receipt, catching exactly those errors before you walk out the door. Costco has openly stated this system protects both sides. If a cashier misses scanning an item entirely, the exit check catches that too and resolves it on the spot. 10 seconds at the door can prevent an overcharge you might not notice until you're already home. Checking a receipt you may not even review carefully. Reframe it. This is a final, free double check before you leave, not an obstacle. Costco doesn't hang directional aisle signs, and that absence isn't an oversight. It's a calculated design choice. When you can't find your way easily, you walk more. When you walk more, you see more. When you see more, you buy things that weren't on your original list. The average Costco shopper spends 40 minutes per visit, roughly double the time spent at a conventional supermarket. And that gap isn't accidental. On top of the missing signage, Costco periodically relocates familiar products. The blender you bought last month isn't where it used to be. The cookie aisle you had memorized has moved to a different section entirely. Every relocation forces a new search, and every search routes you past products that weren't part of the plan. The most effective countermeasure is straightforward. Build a shopping list before walking in. and hold to it firmly. Staples like milk, eggs, and fresh meat sit at the deepest point of the warehouse by design, forcing a walk through electronics and apparel first. Knowing that in advance, you can head straight to the back of the store, rather than letting yourself get pulled into sections that were never part of the trip. Saturday afternoon at Costco is an environment engineered, even if unintentionally, to make you lose control of spending without noticing it happening. Carts colliding in the aisles, long lines at every sample station, kids running between displays, and you're both hungry and tired after 30 minutes of circling without finding what you came for. That combination is the exact condition psychologists call decision fatigue. Once fatigue sets in, decisions stop being weighed carefully and start being made on instinct, grabbing whatever looks convenient or cheap, whether it's actually needed or not. Costco isn't intentionally engineering weekend chaos, but the effect is the same regardless of intent. Watching other shoppers actively filling their carts signals to your brain that those items must be worth buying. The smell of food drifting from sample stations while your stomach is empty measurably lowers judgment quality. A Cornell Food and Brand Lab study found that hungry shoppers spend an average of 64% more than shoppers who ate beforehand. And most of that gap falls on items never on the original list. Longtime Costco shoppers gravitate toward Wednesday mornings, right after the monthly coupon book updates, and while the crowd is still thin. That quieter window allows for actually reading labels, comparing unit prices, and deciding without any external pressure pushing the decision along. The mattress industry has a strange structural quirk. There's no transparent, standardized pricing for direct comparison. The exact same foam mattress can be sold under different brand names at wildly different price points, ranging from a few $100s to several thousand depending purely on where you buy it. It's one of the highest markup categories in the entire US consumer retail landscape. Costco exclusively carries the NovaForm mattress line, the 14-inch Comfort Grande model, built from gel memory foam, designed specifically to support joints and relieve back pressure for older adults dealing with spinal issues. A queen size runs under $700, backed by a 20-year manufacturer warranty. A comparable product at Mattress Firm or Sleep Number typically runs $1,500 to $2,500, with a noticeably shorter warranty period attached. What matters more than the price gap is that Costco's standard return policy applies to mattresses too, meaning you can test it at home in real conditions before committing, something most specialty mattress retailers would never allow. Whole Foods and Sprouts have shaped a widespread perception that eating clean requires paying a premium. Costco quietly disproves that assumption and does it effectively. The 2-liter bottle of Kirkland Signature Organic Extra Virgin Olive Oil, USDA Certified Organic, is one of the strongest buys in the entire store. Not just for the price, but for verified quality. Kirkland olive oil has outperformed premium bottles costing 2 to 3 times as much in multiple professional blind taste tests. A practical tip for first-time buyers. Since olive oil oxidizes with repeated exposure to air, decant it into smaller dark glass bottles for daily use to preserve quality and extend shelf life. Wild-caught Alaskan salmon is another standout, typically priced between $10 and $13 per pound at Costco, against $15 to $20 for the identical product at conventional grocery stores. Kirkland Organic Greek Yogurt, with higher protein and less added sugar than most conventional brands, falls into the same category of genuinely healthy food, priced at a level that's difficult to find matched anywhere else. A typical supermarket carries over 30,000 distinct items. Costco carries roughly 4,000. That number sounds like a limitation on paper, but for a large portion of shoppers, it's actually an underappreciated benefit. Standing in front of 15 different olive oil options forces the brain to analyze, compare, and decide repeatedly. And doing that enough times in a single trip leaves you fatigued, frustrated, and less satisfied with whatever you ultimately chose, regardless of whether it was actually the right choice. Consumer psychologists call this the paradox of choice. Before any product reaches a Costco shelf, their buying team has already run blind testing, compared pricing across suppliers, and negotiated contracts on your behalf. You don't have to redo that work. Your only job is walking in, selecting from an already pre-filtered list, and heading home without burning through unnecessary mental energy.
That $65 membership card was never really an expense. It's a key. $3,000 saved on hearing aids. $200 saved on eyewear. A few $100s a year saved on vitamins alone.
Add it all together, and the members who actually understand how to use their card correctly are recouping that membership fee many times over, every single year, without buying a single thing beyond what they were already planning to bring home.